Thunder Miraidon paired with Kyogre and Tsareena was able to go 11-0 in the Utrecht Special Event Swiss rounds. We're going to be trying out this team and seeing how well it can perform. This is Nick's Rain team that was able to perform extremely well at the Utrecht Special Event. Let's break it down. First up, we have the classic, a Covert Cloak Tornaz with the Prankster ability and a Steel Terra type with Hurricane, Tailwind, Rain Dance, and Taunt. Tornadus, of course, with Kyogre, such a great pairing because of the fact that it does cover the grass type coverage that Kyogre can't hit for really hard damage. So Hurricane or Bleak Wind Storm with a Water Spout or Origin Pulse is able to do massive damage into a lot of switch-ins. You have the Tailwind support as well with that Prankster ability that gives +1 priority to all status moves. And it is a very nice thing for Kyogre, which is able to throw off some pretty heavy damage with Water Spout because it's not the fastest Pokemon in the world. The Covert Cloak is able to prevent any fake outs from affecting the Tornadus, as well as some other things like any drops from the attacks like Icy Wind or Electro Web, any stat drops from secondary effects. It's just really nice to have consistently, especially when you're not running Protect on the Tornadus. The Terra Steel is able to help out against the Calyx Ice Rider matchup, where if you do have to bring the Tornadus to go for the taunt, you do have that Terra Steel, so you're not taking super effective damage from the ice type moves or any strong fairy type moves like from Miraidon, Terra Fairy, Dazzling Gleam. You might notice the Tornadus does have Hurricane over the Bleak Wind Storm. Bleak Wind Storm is a pretty strong move, and it is pretty nice because it is a spread move. However, with this Kyogre that isn't running a single target water type attack, you might not want to fall too much into being weak into Wide Guard. Hurricane's also just able to do more damage and effectively get the double up knockouts, which Kyogre can fail to miss with Bleak Wind plus Water Spout. For instance, the Hurricane plus Water Spout can knock out a Salt Vest, Rillaboom that is able to knock out a Moongus that don't have like a Citrus Berry. So it is really able to just punish those defensive grass switch-ins more than just a Bleak Wind Storm. You do have to call the target, but it can work and play around that Wide Guard. Of course, the trade-off is Hurricane is 70% accurate, where Bleak Wind is 80%. And of course, where there is Sun involved, Hurricane becomes a 50% chance to hit. So that is the drawback there. The Tailwind, of course, for the priority speed control, the Rain Dance for the Rhino matchup, and just really enabling the water type Pokemon on this team, and Taunt to shut down any setup from the opponent. Running a max speed Tornadus, a lot of Tornadus tend to be bulky in the format, but that just makes it better for a Tornadus that is able to outspeed the Kyogre for the Hurricane into Water Spout or Origin Pulse combination. Could be impactful when there is like a Rage Powder Moongus because you get the Hurricane off before like your water type move, so it could be like a single target attack, which could be very nice. And of course is very strong into stuff like the Galarian Wheezing, so you can get the Tailwind off. That is fast, and yes, it is just able to outspeed just a majority of the format with max speed, able to punish a lot of the slower mons out there with that Hurricane. You also just have a decent amount of bulk with the 116 HP investment, 116 special attack, and a bit in defense. Overall, it's just a Tornadus that has some bulk, but mostly focused on just trying to outspeed on this offensive team, deal a good amount of damage. Having a bit of bulk to be able to survive just hits naturally, like Surging Strikes out of Rain, for instance, from Urshifu, and more. So it is able to dish out quite a bit and mainly be a good support Pokemon for this team. Next Pokemon we have is the Mystic Water Kyogre with the Drizzle ability to summon the rain. The Mystic Water just powers up the water attacks even further with the Grass Terror type as a defensive type, because affects Spore, affects Rillaboom Grassy Glide, affects Raging Bolt Thunderclap, and more. The Water Spout, Origin Pulse, Ice Beam, Protect. A classic Kyogre. It's just able to dish out so much damage with the water type moves under the rain, and Ice Beam is able to have some more consistent coverage into the grass types. And yeah, that's pretty much all you really need on Kyogre. This one's actually a very fast variant. It is a Timid max speed Kyogre, and you run Timid as just a way to, unless you're facing like a modest Kyogre, it is able to help out quite immensely. So you can still go for Water Spouts under the rain and just guarantee that, hey, my Kyogre is probably faster than a majority of the Pokemon that you might encounter. For instance, this is faster than like Adamant Urshifu. So if you're fighting an Adamant Urshifu, you will be able to outspeed, go for that Water Spout, and make sure you get the really powerful Water Spout off from this Kyogre that's just dishing out a good amount of damage. That's all I have to really say. It is just built, not really going for bulk, because this team is way more offensive. You're pretty much just trying to get KOs as quickly as possible, so you want to make sure you outspeed the Pokemon and dish out the heavy damage that this team needs. Next Pokemon we have is the Miraidon with the choice specs to power up its attacks, Hadron Engine, summoning the electric terrain, powering up the Miraidon even further, alongside the Fairy Terra type with Thunder, Voltage, Draco Meteor, and Dazzling Gleam. It's really interesting because this is a standard Miraidon, but instead of Electro Drift, we have Thunder. And the difference is that one, Electro Drift does have a bit of a thing where if you are hitting into a mon that Electro Drift is super effective into, you do get a bit of a boost, but otherwise mainly it's just a strong consistent electric type attack. This is 100 base power and 100 accuracy. It's guaranteed to hit pretty much unless some other conditions fold. But Thunder is an interesting move because it's 110 base power, so it's only 10 base power more, although it is 30% less accurate because it's 70% accuracy without any rain. But if you do have the rain up, it is guaranteed to hit, so it can hit through like minimize stuff and others. So it's a bit of an interesting trade-off, and of course it does make the Miraidon lead a bit weaker if you don't have the rain up with like either Tornadus, Rain Dance, or Kyogre support. However, it can get some knockouts that maybe like there are Pokemon that are EV to live Electro Drift, for instance like Terra Fairy. Miraidon on opposing side might be able to live in Electro Drift, but with Thunder you can guarantee that KO, for instance. So it can have some risk rewards that might be able to pay off, but it really just depends on if you're able to position it right. Otherwise, pretty standard moveset: Volt Switch, Draco Meteor, and Dazzling Gleam with the Terra Fairy. That's pretty standard. It will dish out a ton of damage. And this Miraidon, going with a modest nature, because you have the Thunder, you want to do as much damage as possible. Max speed, modest, as you might be wondering. But a lot of the Miraidons leading up to this event at the Utrecht Special Event generally were pretty bulky, so a lot of them weren't running a timid nature, and a lot of them were leaning towards having a lot of HP, especially with Grimmsnarl. So having a Miraidon with max speed modest pretty much just allowed you to outspeed any kind of bulky Miraidons, which were the most common Miraidons that you were leaning into, and you really just want to be able to dish out a ton of damage with this Miraidon to break through the rest and just dish out a ton of damage with its attacks in the electric terrain that is giving a boost. Next Pokemon we have is the Assault Vest Iron Hands with the Quark Drive. Terra Bug is a defensive type, which is able to help out with the super effective ground type attacks, which can be scary, as well as being able to resist Body Press from Zamazenta, which can be pretty helpful. And that Quark Drive also gives you a attack booster in that electric terrain, while the Assault Vest, of course, is helping the Iron Hands' weaker special defensive side, so it can take the attacks a lot better. You have a pretty standard moveset of Drain Punch, Low Kick, Drain Punch for the recovery, Low Kick for the extra damage into the heavier Pokemon, especially those restricted. Ball Charge to take advantage of the electric terrain, as well as the same type attack bonus, hitting opposing water types, which resist the Kyogre, as well as Fake Out support with pretty much near max attack. This Iron Hands is really offensive to dish out as much damage as you possibly can. A good amount of special defense with 172 in the special defense with the Assault Vest, and deciding to dump a bit more into its physical defense to be able to take, like, for instance, Glacial Lance a bit better. Overall, this Iron Hands is just meant to do as much damage as possible because it is, again, a really offensive team. It is more of a Pokemon that can switch in compared to the other Mons. However, you still want to be able to break through a lot of the opponent's teams with especially strong double up, so you go with a lot of attack with that electric terrain. You're able to do a lot of damage with that attack booster. Alongside, even though this team doesn't have Trick Room and has Tailwind, you want to run min speed, because if you do have to fight under Trick Room, hey, at least you have a shot, because base 50 with a min speed allows you to speed tie like Calix Ice Rider or Saluna, so maybe you could get the KO into them, or they can KO the rest of your team under Trick Room. Next Pokemon we have is the Wildland Tsareena, able to increase the accuracy of its attacks by 10%. The Queenly Majesty, that is able to stop any priority moves from affecting your side of the field, with the Terra Ice type with Power Whip, Triple Axle, Taunt, and Helping Hand. Tsareena is a really cool Pokemon. Queenly Majesty, kind of similar to Farigiraf with its Armor Tail. Great ability to prevent the priority, especially those fake outs, from affecting your partners, which is massive for Kyogre, Miraidon, and of course the Urshifu, that's able to threaten a ton of damage. So it's a really nice support Pokemon to play around priority moves, because that's one thing that could play around Kyogre and the Tailwind support. So Queenly Majesty is just a fantastic ability to support the rest of the team. You have the Power Whip, which is a strong grass type move. You have the Triple Axle, which is able to hit Pokemon that Kyogre doesn't really like, such as the Raging Bolt, Rillaboom, Amoonguss, any Terra Grasses, any Dragon types. So it's very nice. You have that Terra Ice type to power up the Triple Axle, so Water Spout, Triple Axle is getting those knockouts into those Pokemon again that I mentioned before, alongside being able to resist the Calyx Ice Rider Glacial Lance, which can be big because he wants Tsareena to stick around on the field against Calyx Ice Rider and make sure you're blocking the priority while threatening quite a bit of damage, as well as the taunt support to stop the Trick Room from Calyx Ice Rider, stop Spores from Amoonguss if necessary, any redirections, any Trick Rooms, any setups. Pretty much that's what taunt is there to help out with. And otherwise, Tsareena is just giving a helping hand support, so the Miraidon, the Kyogre, the Urshifu is able to do a ton of damage next to it without worrying about any priority. It is a very fast Tsareena, just trying to dish out as much damage as possible with the adamant nature, going with max speed. Again, this is more of a team that just like dishing out as much damage as possible, not really taking the hits. You pretty much just want to outspeed and KO your opponent as quickly as possible, and the remainder, I guess, going into HP. Final Pokemon is the Rapid Strike Urshifu with the Choice Scarf to boost its speed, Unseen Fist, which pretty much just allows Urshifu to hit to protect with the Water Terra type, with Surging Strikes, Aqua Jet, Close Combat, U-Turn. Pretty standard, absolutely absurd. Terra Water on this Urshifu, especially in rain, is really hard to take the attack pretty well, especially with the Water Terra type. It's able to do a ton of damage. Downside is you aren't exactly fun against Thunderclap, Raging Bolt, and the Grassy Glide Rillaboom, but that's where Tsareena is supposed to support the Urshifu, so Urshifu can just focus on doing as much damage as possible in the rain. And pretty much it's a standard Urshifu, max speed, so you are able to outspeed the Calyx Shadow Rider with that Choice Scarf. You go with a lot of attack and the remainder into bulk. There might be some Calyx, I think, that you can be able to tank a bit better because you have a bit of special defense, but across the board it's pretty much the same. Just outspeed your opponent and again try to get knockouts. I think you can get the theme of this team at this point. So how to use the team overall, I think you kind of get the gist of it by me explaining it. It's about offense. You outspeed your opponent, you threaten the knockouts. That's all you really need. Tornadus with the Tailwind to set up for speed control with your fast threats, and your Kyogre and your Miraidon, especially the Urshifu against opposing Tailwind is really nice as well. You have that Tsareena that's able to prevent any priority. You also have Taunt as a disruption to stop any Trick Rooms from going up. You have the Iron Hands for fake out pressure to buy turns for your other Pokemon to do a ton of damage, and of course breaking through the team utilizing fast offensive pacing from the Kyogre, Miraidon, and Urshifu. If you would like to check out details of the team and the creator, I'll link them down below in the description, and let me know your thoughts on Kyogre and Miraidon, because I think it's a really unique duo that I was thinking about, and if Thunder is worth it as well, let me know, because I think Thunder might be able to come in handy in some situations, but I do think Electric Drift might be better for consistency wise, because it's not like always you're going to have to rain up, and that could be really scary. So you might be just taking the risk and the gamble immediately. However, that extra power might be worth it. We'll see. I think Kyogre Miraidon is a really cool duo as well. There is a bit of annoyance with Rillaboom, of course, because that Pokemon does kind of annoy the Kyogre because of Grassy Glide and then Miraidon shutting down its terrain. But I do think the combo actually does have quite a bit of potential with the offense that you could dread. Of course, opposing Miraidon could be scary, and I'm kind of curious to see if that will be the case. But yes, let's see how it goes. Calyx Ice Rider, Grimmsnarl, Kyogre, Amoonguss, Indeedee, and Incineroar. Alright, so they have terrain control plus the Calyx Ice Rider and screens. Gonna be a difficult one. But I do like Tsareena a lot in this matchup with Kyogre, and then Miraidon plus Iron Hand should be good. A lot of this is going to come down to the Terra on the Amoonguss, or not Amoonguss, the Calyx Ice Rider, which is probably grass. So we'll probably have to deal with screens. We'll probably have to deal with Kyogre. I will probably be tearing the Tsareena here, I think, in this matchup, because I do like the idea of taunt pinning the Calyx Ice Rider for some pretty heavy damage. Water Spout also from Kyogre just goes pretty strong as a starter. They don't really have the best options. The only thing that could be scary is like, oh, does the Calyx Ice Rider lead with Kyogre against my team? Although that's just very risky, because if I lead something like Miraidon, that would be able to threaten a huge amount of damage, so I don't think that would be the case. They're probably just going to try to lead something with screens with Grimmsnarl, I'd imagine. And I think that'd be a safer route, because if they do get this right, Calyx Ice Rider Kyogre would be a pretty scary lead, because of the fact that they would be able to threaten the Water Spout and Glacial Lands combination. And especially with a right Terra on the Cali Ice, I don't really like that position because they would be able to threaten my Tsareena through out Terra. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Otherwise, I would have to make a hard call out, I think, and go for like Terra Ice, triple Axle plus Water Spout combo turn 1, which I don't think would be likely, but let's see. Gonna be the lead of the Calyrex plus the Grimmsnarl. Yep, pretty much what I would expect. We're gonna see Tsareena and Kyogre lead. And we do have Taunt on the Tsareena, so we can go for Taunt and Water Spout and should be in a pretty safe position. Grimmsnarl should only be able to go for a Light Screen unless it's Focus Sash. And because otherwise Grimmsnarl would probably go down to the Water Spout. So we're going to go for Terra Ice, go for the Taunt into the Calyrex Ice Rider, and throw off a Water Spout. Let's see what the item on the Cali Ice is, because that's going to be an important factor here. Because if we are able to get a good amount of damage into the Cali Ice, I feel pretty confident with the Water Spout plus, like, we'll see. Because it depends on the Terra. I'm trying to figure out if it's Terra Water or Terra Grass on this team. I can't really say for certain. I would say Grass because it's more likely Grass because there is not really the best answers to Amoonguss. I don't know how they really stop Amoonguss. Let's see. All right, Terra Ice the Tsareena to make sure I don't go down to a Glacial Lance this turn. Because that is a really important move I need to make sure. All right, we force a Terra here. What Terra are you going for? Terra on the Cali, gonna be the Terra Water. Ooh, okay, so I can pin with Power Whip in that slot, which is good. Okay, that's really good for me because Power Whip Water Spout's really threatening to their team. They go for Light Screen. As we get a Water Spout off. Good damage, and the Taunt is coming out. All right, this is probably Glacial, but if they Trick Room, that's better for me. Nice. Not Leftovers Cali. All right. I mean, they get pinned by Power Up Water Spout, so I am going to Power Up and I'm going to Water Spout. If they go, only a switch in they could have is Amoonguss, and even Amoonguss doesn't really take like into Water Spout super well. I feel pretty good about this position. Like, Amoonguss doesn't really threaten much offense either. So, but maybe I should anticipate the Cali to always switch here, which they do. Is this Indity? I wouldn't be surprised if it's Indity. Because I think Indity Kyogre makes sense in the back. No, it is Amoonguss. I could have triple axled. Okay. Reflect does go up. All right. So I do go for the Water Spout. Get the KO onto the Grim. As Power Up is going to go into the Amoonguss. Or actually miss, which I don't know if that's helpful. I mean, I guess I would have scouted for a Rocky Helmet, but I guess that's kind of nice. We're going to see Kyogre come in most likely. If it's Kyogre, I'm going into my Miraidon, I think. Like, I think I go hard Miraidon. And I just fire off attacks into Amoonguss, I think. They already Terra, so they can't Terra out of Thunder. So if I KO Amoonguss, they have no Thunder switch in. Iron Hands is looking really good in the end game, and they can't get rid of Terrain unless they brought Indity over Kyogre, which not be good for them. Yeah, Kyogre is revealed here. Okay. We don't know the set, but I am liking the idea of just going for a triple axle into the Amoonguss, and I do like the idea of just firing off a Water Spout and getting some damage on the board against the Kyogre to chip away at the Water Spout damage. I thought about going out into the Miraidon, but I think pinning the Amoonguss is better. Although if they switch out Amoonguss into Cali Ice, I mean, they take a lot of damage. That's the thing. They take a lot of damage if they switch out into the Cali Ice. So I don't know if they can really afford to switch out into Cali Ice because it's already chipped. It'll take even more chip. So we'll see. I think a lot of the game is going to come down to, can I get rid of this Amoonguss? Smart Protect. Yep. Okay. I could have Power Whipped. I think they're hoping for the Power Whip miss and a Protect, which is a smart decision here. I think this still works out for me pretty well because I get a good Water Spout off. That damage. I can't tell what the Kyogre is. Salt Vest? Maybe. Water Spout? Oh, they Hydro Pump my Tsareena. Okay. It was my Tsareena. I don't mind that. I think the next turn I Thunder the Amoonguss and I Ice Beam the Amoonguss as well. And I like that. Yeah. I'm just going to Thunder the Amoonguss and Ice Beam the Amoonguss because I don't think they have a switch to Thunder and Ice Beam into that slot. And I might KO the Amoonguss depending on its item. So Thunder and Ice Beam double up the Amoonguss. Because I don't want them to go for... Like, if I KO Amoonguss, then I just get Thunders across the board and then just win the game, I think. The Kyogre cannot knock out the Miraidon at the current moment, so I feel pretty good. Also, Iron Hands is looking really threatening once I get rid of Amoonguss, so just turning down this Amoonguss I think is always the best option here. They go for Rage Power to prevent the Kyogre from getting hit by the Thunder or the Electric Drift. That works. They get the Thunder off into Amoonguss. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. It's not Cover Cloak because it got parried. Ice Beam going to KO the Amoonguss. Let's see. If the Kyogre has Ice Beam, was it potential Rocky Helmet Amoonguss? Because Rocky Helmet Amoonguss could change this. Oh, they go for Thunder into Kyogre. I don't think Kyogre was the threat, so that works out pretty well for me. And now I think I win the game. This Cali Ice is going to come in. I don't see a reason not to just go out into Iron Hands and click Thunder into the Cali Ice, because even if the Cali Ice protects, like, the Kyogre needs a Ice Beam crit or freeze, I think, into my Miraidon. And I could still win without Miraidon. It'd be a lot tougher, so I'm kind of hoping that I'm just able to get the Thunder KO into Miraidon, or just not get, you know, frozen or crit or unfall immediately. Those would work too. I think I always Thunder the Cali Ice though, because Thunder will always KO the Cali Ice in this position. And I also have Iron Hands that can fake out the Kyogre the next turn. With Thunder and how much it took from Water Spout, I am guessing it is Assault Vest. I'm guessing it's Assault Vest, unless it's Cover Cloak 3 or 4 attacks, which I've seen before as well. I'm kind of curious if they have Ice Beam, because if they don't have Ice Beam, the game's just over, right? They can't do anything to knock out Miraidon. Iron Hands in. Get the Quark Drive. I mean, yeah, they have to make a Desperate Protect play, but I think I'm still in the driver's seat. Unless, like, really bad RNG happens. But the thing is, if I Thunder the Kyogre and they attack with Cali Ice as a last-ditch effort, I probably lose. Yeah, there's the Ice Beam. It didn't look like it KO'd. Or looked really close. Oh, this is where rain stops. Ugh. This is the downsides of running Thunder. Returns electric terrain. So I could fake out, or I could go for the raw Thunder. So I have Thunder into Calyx Ice Rider, and I could go to Kyogre to get the rain back up, which I think I'm gonna do. Or because my opponent has to go for odds, right? They either have to go for a double protect, or they gotta hope that Thunder misses, right? And I think like those are the options my opponent has. This might be closer than I thought, actually. This might be closer than I thought, because I was really hoping to get the... Because this is probably a... Well, did they have Origin Pulse? No, we saw Thunder, Ice Beam, Water Spout, Hydro, so we know it's full moveset. Okay, they went for a Thunder Miss, hoping that I faked out. Perfect. Okay, I get rid of the Cali Ice. Beautiful. Alright, my odds are looking pretty good here, because... Let's see if they Water Spout or if they went for a different attack. Wait, what? Origin Pulse, I dodged. That's really helpful that I dodged, because now I get extra damage in our Kyogre, and I think I sealed a win. Guaranteed. I think Wall Charge and Terrain was KOing the Kyogre, so like I don't think it was that big of a deal, but like... We saw Hydro Pump, we saw Origin Pulse, we saw Thunder, we saw Ice Beam. This is no Water Spout Kyogre. Yeah, that's Water Spoutless Kyogre, which is kind of insane, because usually you run one, that's no accurate water type move, and B, like that's usually the reason why you run Kyogre. But sure. I'm gonna go for fake out Origin Pulse, because it should be Assault Vest. Build up the damage, so wall charge definitely gets the KO through screens. I think it would, just because of wall charge, the terrain, the super effectiveness. But we get this extra damage just on top, just in case. I was going to get fake out damage, and then wall charge I think would KO to reflect, just because of the electric terrain and the attack booster. But this was just extra bonus on top. I don't think Hydro Pump crit knocks out Iron Hands. That was, or Origin, well, it's the same amount of damage. Single target crit I just don't think would knock out the Iron Hands. It would have been close, but I don't think it would have. You get the wall charge, KO on Kyogre. Like, I think I had the game locked, as long as, again, no double protect on the Kali Ice that turn. Sure, I could have made more aggressive plays to, like, make sure that I could win, but the thing is, it is a risk reward, because if they do play aggressive, like, let's say they don't protect the Kali Ice on that one turn, they just lose. Where they needed to get pretty absurd RNG to win against me in that end, right? They need an Ice Beam Freeze. They needed a Thunder Mist potentially. Although I did switch to Kyogre, so I always hit the Thunder. Even with the Origin Pulse dodge, I still think my Iron Hands would be in their Kyogre 1v1 with Fake Out plus Wall Charge in Electric Terrain plus the attack booster. I think it's just too much for a Kyogre to handle. Whimsicott, Indeedee, Incineroar, Zamazenta, Torkoal, and Calyx Shadow Rider. This is an interesting Calyx Shadow Rider Zamazenta build. We have Rain Dance on the Torn that can help. Okay, this is going to be a strange one, because this is a Weather War and a Terrain War. So I don't have Hydro Pump on the Kyogre, unfortunately, because the Wide Guard Zamazenta will actually come into play. I don't know if they actually bring it. That's the thing. I can't really say if they bring it. I think Tsareena's probably not good here, unfortunately. It just doesn't do much against this matchup. I don't know if I want to bring Iron Hands, because Iron Hands is just such a strange one. It's a good pivot, but it's like really rough too. I might want to play aggressively against this build, realistically. I think like Torn plus Ogre is probably right with Miraidon Ursh. Or it's Ursh Torn, so I could go for Rain Dance Surging. The problem is, if they lead Whimsicott, I just get screwed. I think I have Ursh back. I think Ursh back is correct. Because I don't really care about the Torkoal. Well, the thing is, do they have Sunny Day on Whims? Sunny Day on Whims would be rough. I feel like Indeedee could lead here, because I feel like they want the redirection. Because if I lead Ursh and I have Rain up, it's really rough for them. But Whimsicott's Zamazenta is also a fair one. Okay. Versus Kyogre and the Tornadus. I think all I really need is damage. I don't know if they wide guard here. They could. But I think I'm just going to go for a Hurricane into the Whimsicott and just draw off an Origin Pulse. I don't really need Kyogre healthy in this game. I just kind of need some offensive pressure. I'm just going to go for Hurricane, and I'm going to go for Origin Pulse. I go for Sunny Day, so I'm going to have a 50% chance to get a Hurricane off. But, oh my goodness, Tornadus does not care. Tornadus said, no, who cares? Hurricane crits the Whimsicott on top of that. Bonus points. It wasn't necessary, but bonus points as they go for Body Press into Kyogre, which is absolutely fine. Okay. As we do get the Origin Pulse off into the Zama, which is some decent damage. But yeah, that's a pretty good start. So this is Shadow Rider coming in, I'd imagine. Indeedee. What? Ah, I see what they're trying to do. Okay. I think my best play here then is to taunt the Indeedee, swap into Miraidon, so they can't Trick Room. I think they're trying to go for Body Press Trick Room. And we're going to deny the Trick Room here with the taunt from my Torn, because we changed the terrain, which is going to help out. And then next turn we can go for like Electro Drift into Indeedee for a ton of damage and Tailwind and be in a great shape. We taunt the Indeedee, as they probably go for Body Press or Heavy Slam. That works out too. Yep, they went for Trick Room. Beautiful. Now I can Tailwind pretty safely. I can go for... Well, I guess like one of the weaknesses, I can't Electro Drift right now. I guess I can Volt Switch though. Volt Switching isn't bad though into Indeedee. So I'm going to Volt Switch to Indeedee. They switch out to Indeedee. This is Shadow Rider coming in. Yep. Which works. I will be able to get a Volt Switch off into the Shadow Rider. Does the Zama Terra? Because I would like to find out. No, they protect. So this is beautiful. This is beautiful. I get the Tailwind off. And we get to go for a Volt Switch into the Shadow Rider, which actually just OHKOs. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We are able to swap out our Miraidon and then repeat the cycle. We get to go out into Kyogre or Ursh. I think we go Ursh first. Because we don't want to waste the turns of rain we have set up. Entity is going to come in. And I think the play is just always to taunt the Entity once again and go out and Miraidon. Because Miraidon should live a attack here, unless it's maybe Helping Hand Body Press. But even if they Helping Hand Body Press, I think that's fine, because since Entity can't really do any damage, I'm pretty sure that under Tailwind we can sweep the remainder. So we bring out Miraidon once again. Because like Scarfish is looking really good to clean up, I think. Yeah, they go for the Helping Hand Body Press read, which is fine. Because I don't even... Does that knock out Miraidon? This doesn't have bulk, so maybe it does. Go for the taunt. You go for Body Press. Miraidon survives. And now we can do anything here realistically. I think I'm just going to go for Rain Dance and I'm going to go for Thunder into Entity. Because I'm pretty sure that Ursh is just able to win at this point with Surging. Because Terra Water Surging, even if they have a resisted Terra, like, it's just really tough for them. I guess what? It wasn't Focus Sash on the Whimsicott or the Shadow Rider, so maybe it's Sash Entity. Maybe. I don't remember we saw Psychic Seed from earlier, but Thunder gonna come out. This actually Sash Entity. Okay. Are they able to get a double knockout here? Ooh, Thunder Paralysis. They go for Heavy Slam to cover for... I don't know why they Heavy Slam that slot actually, because... Oh, I guess if I have his Terra Ghost. It can't move. It has to struggle. It didn't even have Psychic. So, goodbye Entity. And yeah, we guarantee win because we can go for Hurricane plus Terra Water Surging Strikes, and we just do way too much damage to them. Even if they crit a Body Press, they can't take a knockout. So, or they can take a knockout, but they can't clean up the game in time. So, we go for Hurricane. We go for Terra Water Surging Strikes in Rain. And we'll clean up. So this is kind of the cool synergy of being able to do a lot of damage with Kyogre plus, because we won the Weather War. I mean, it's thanks to also hitting the Hurricane and Sun, which granted was very lucky, but I wasn't sure if they were going to go for the Sunny Day immediately or if they were going to go for Tailwind on their own, but it worked out beautifully, right? Because I got the knockout into Whimsicott. I was able to then win the Weather War when I needed to, I guess, because I won the terrain more mostly, and I prevented any form of speed control from coming out, which was the important part, because I was able to overwhelm them with the Scarf Urshifu, really, because they really had no switches to Scarf Urshifu, and they even gave me a Tailwind setup. So we will go for the Terra Water Surging Strikes and blow up the Zamazenta. So very nice, very nice. Goodbye Zamazenta. And yeah, the fact that we were able to get that Volt Switch KO into the Shadow Rider as well on the turn, like the fact we could just taunt, play aggressive, Volt Switch as well, gain the knockout. Yeah, like if it was Real Boom, it would have definitely been a longer game. I think it could have definitely been one, but it's just like the more offensive Volt turn is just really cool here. Regigigas Galarian Weezing with Calyrex Shadow Rider, the Zamazenta, Incineroar, and Urshifu. Interesting to see the Weezing Regigigas pair with this team. Okay. How do I want to try to break through this? I think Torn Lead is pretty acceptable. Is it just Torn Ogre? I feel like a Torn Ogre is just right. Yeah, I like Torn Ogre. I like Torn Ogre. I like Urshifu, and I like my Miraidon. Like offensively, this just seems really good. I don't really want to play passive with Iron Hands on this kind of team because I need speed to overwhelm this. And we'll figure out the rest. Because Tsareena, the problem with Tsareena in this matchup specifically is there isn't really any priority to block other than fake out. So we're going to see the Regigigas Wheezing, which is not too surprising as we do lead to Torn and Kyogre. I don't know if they can take a knockout here, but I will go for the Tailwind and a Origin Pulse. Since I have some bulk on the Kyogre, I feel like I could live an attack unless this is some boosted Gigas. They go for the Wide Guard, which is fine, as I get the Tailwind up with the Torn. And sure, you protected this turn, but now I have Rain Dance, Water Spout the next turn. So are they going to taunt? If they taunt, that's fine. I'm kind of curious on what they're going for with this Galarian Wheezing here. Like, what are you going to try to do after the Wide Guard? You do go for the taunt, but like, here's the thing. I don't think that matters too much. I'm just going to click Water Spout. I'm just going to go for Hurricane. Because there's only so much that these Pokemon can do, right? I think I'm going to aim for the Wheezing. Actually, no, I'm going to aim for the Gigas because there's a chance that Wheezing protects. Also, like, the Wheezing can't do much damage, so I just go for Hurricane Water Spout. If they go for Wide Guard, it's still fine for me. I'll just go for attacks until I feel like, hey, I want to click something else. We missed a Hurricane on the first time, which is fine. Like, what's Wheezing going to do? Unless it has Gunk Shot, I'm not really too worried about the damage Wheezing does. Like, Dazzling Gleam, Sludge Bomb, they're passive. I guess T-Spike would be annoying. Gleam, yeah, that's like no damage. That's the thing. No damage. I'm still going to do the same thing realistically, because if they keep Wide Guarding, like, I still get this Hurricane. Yeah, like if they go for the Protect and Attack now, I still get good damage to Gigas and maybe a knockout. I don't think it does. Well, I missed 2 Hurricanes, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Water Spout. Like, Gigas is gonna get damaged, which is nice. Yeah, that's good damage. Crush Grip. Does this KO Kyogre? No. Perfect. Oh, wait, turns of Tauntas. Yeah, so the last are taunts. So I'm trying to figure out like how they're trying to position this. Because my Torn does outspeed the Pokemon the next turn. So I think I could just go for a Hurricane and an Origin Pulse, and I think I'm fine. And I'm just gonna double up here. And if I hit both moves into Wheezing, the Slow Start reactivates. Nice. I don't know if this knocks out the Gigas. It does knock out the Gigas, so I'm in a fantastic spot. That's kind of the problem with Regigigas Wheezing. You don't have Dynamax, buddy. You don't have Dynamax. Now neutralizing gas wears off. Even if the Giga survived, it would have been slow start. I don't know if they could knock out the Ogre. I guess if they have knockoff, they could have. If they had Sucker Punch, I was willing to take the risk because it was like, sure. But I would have got Tailwind up regardless. And then I still think Ursh comes in under Rain Dance. It's looking really rough for them. We're going to see their own Ursh come in. And Shadow Rider. So no Zamazenta, which makes this a whole lot easier. I just set up a Tailwind and then I win with Miraidon plus my Ursh. So I go for a Tailwind and I go for a Origin Pulse. I don't think it really matters on what I click. I'm pretty sure that I can just clean up the end game regardless. Unless for some reason the Shadow Rider has like Trick Room. This is Trick Room Calyx. Shadow Rider. I will be very sad. We missed an Origin Pulse. We missed a Shadow Rider. So this is Trick Room Shadow Rider. Our chances of winning has skyrocketed. It's the Ursh moves before the Torn, but that's probably Scarf Ursh, so that's like to be expected. And is Astral? Okay. So we win anyway. I think we win anyway. Because we go into Ursh, we go into Miraidon, we click Terra Water Surging Strikes and Thunder into the Calyx Shadow Rider. Because in case the Shadow Rider for some reason is Terra Grass or Terra Water, I think I KO with a combination of Thunder plus Surging Strikes. If they protect, they take 2 Surging Strikes in Rain, and their Surging Strikes from their Scarf Urshifu that we revealed is not doing any damage. Unless for some reason the Urshifu wasn't Terra... what's it called? Oh, unless it wasn't Choice Scarf. So let's see if this works. I'm pretty sure we're fine. I'm pretty sure we're fine. We bring out the Terra Water Urshifu. We do see a Terra. This should be the Shadow Rider. If it's water, it just gets like they absolutely lose. If it's grass, I don't think they survive the double up though. It is actually grass, so my play is correct to double up the Shadow Rider. Okay. I'm pretty sure Thunder or Surging Strikes will always get the KO though. Like I'd be shocked if you lived. This is Terra Water, Surging Strikes, and Rain plus a Thunder. These are some pretty powerful attacks. And yeah, if I targeted the Ursh, it would have been a throw. And as you can see, even through the resistances, the Terra Water, the Rain doesn't care about that resistance. It's still a ton of damage. And then we go for a Thunder, and this will seal the KO into the Shadow Rider. So Shadow Rider goes down to the Thunder, and now Scarf Urshifu alone cannot win. So nice. Nice. And I guess Thunder worked out because like if I clicked Gleam and it was Citrus Berry for some reason, I think it could have lived. So Surging gonna come out, but nowhere near enough damage, and now we get to go for Thunder and a Surging Strikes into the Urshifu, and we should seal it here, guaranteed. Yeah, I didn't realize that Ursh took damage from the Origin Pulse earlier as well, but yeah, doubling up that Ursh. It looked pretty close, but you could definitely throw that position. If I had gone for just Thunder into the Ursh slot and the Astral Barrage went off, I could have actually lost that game. So yeah, definitely made the smartest decision of just doubling up the Calyrex and making sure that Mon was going down guaranteed in 2 hits, which was the important part. On that turn or the next turn, I was pretty much forcing them to go down to that combination of attacks and focused my priority on the Mon that actually mattered. Kyogre, Zacian, Tornadus, Urshifu, Archaludon, and Rillaboom. Alright, so we got some threats. Interesting to see Archaludon. We really have not seen that Pokemon in a long time. And I mean a long time. Alright, so I definitely bring the combination of Torn, Kyogre, Miraidon. Do I want to bring Tsareena? I don't think so. I think this is weird. I'm trying to think because I definitely want Torn. I want Kyogre. I want my own Urshifu because I have very little that outspeeds Zacian. But Ursh is not good other than into Zacian. Iron Hands is good into a majority of their team, and Miraidon's good into their team. It's a tough one because I don't know what they're leading. It could lead like Zacian, Rillaboom, but I'd be pretty happy with that lead, I think. Let's try this out. Tsareena's just too tough to bring in this matchup where they have probably a fast Kyogre. The Ursh is fast, most likely. It's just going to be tough. I wonder if it's Dark Ursh on the team, because if it's Dark Ursh, Iron Hands is definitely necessary because I'm going to need that Wicked Blow resist. Horn plus Zacian. Yeah, this is not too surprising of a lead. We lead Tornadus plus Kyogre. Beautiful. I think I want to go. I am max speed Torn. If they're not max speed Torn or Mental Herb, I could go for the Taunt speed tie, which I think is worth it in Origin Post because I think they play rough the Kyogre and they go for a Tailwind, right? I don't think they ever Terra Dark in this position. If I get the Taunt off, I'm in a great spot. Like if they try to Tailwind, and then I could go for a Tailwind Origin Pulse the next turn and be in a beautiful position. So let's see. They did go for the Tailwind. It's not Mental Herb, right? Play rough. Yep. I do survive. Excellent. We land both Origin Pulses. Beautiful. Great start. Great start. Now we can go for Tailwind and we can go for Origin Pulse, and we keep applying the offensive pressure because they don't really have a good switch at the moment. They probably have to go Rillaboom, which means I can get momentum with my Miraidon. Or if they stay in, I get a double knockout. So I am very pleased with this, especially if I land, which I do. So no Tailwind. The Zacian goes down. The Tornadus goes down. That's the benefit of running max speed Torn sometimes with Taunt, because a lot of the Torns right now are just bulky in general. But when you have a fast Torn, you disrupt that momentum completely. And it was worth the risk because at the worst, it was a potential speed tie. And then I could go for Tailwind to match. However, huge advantage. No Kyogre. It's Archaludon plus Urshifu back. I go for Hurricane into the Ursh, and I think I always just Origin Pulse. Okay, they have Detect, so that's good to know. So it's not Scarf Ursh, which is interesting. I wonder if it's Sash. If it's Sash, we'll play around it, I suppose. All right. As we go for Origin Pulse. Problem is I don't know this Miraidon item. Go for Electroshot. That's fair. Into who? I expect this to be in a Torn. Yeah. Because you're probably trying to hope that you clean up the Kyogre with Aqua Jet from the Ursh. Alright. I think we bring out the Miraidon. Yeah, we bring up Miraidon. We click Volt Switch and Origin Pulse into the Ursh. There's some random Terra Ground, I'll cry, but I'm trying to figure. I think it's more likely that our Chaladon's going to tear this game, and I'm just trying to figure out what Terra are you, because that's going to be the important part. We're going to go for Volt Switch and Origin Pulse. I think they're going to go for Aqua Jet into my Kyogre, and they're trying to hope it picks the knockout, which it might not, depending on the item. And then I think our Chaladon Terra. So we're going to see the Terra come out from the Urshifu. This better not be Terra Ground if it is, but we do see our Chaladon Terra in a Fairy. Okay, so we confirmed the Terra on the Archaladon is Fairy. So that should give us a very significant advantage to win this game. Because they do go for the Aqua Jet and the Kyogre. It does pick up the knockout. Exactly. Absolutely fine. As we get the Volt Switch off into the Urshifu. Urshifu brought down to Focus Sash. We did confirm based on the damage that it was an Assault Vest Archaladon, so I think we're good here. We go out into Iron Hands to absorb a Draco Meteor +1, or this is a Splash Cannon if they go for a Terra Read, which makes sense. Because they had to get the turn right. A Dragon Pulse, okay, that's fair. Iron Hands eats that, and I guess we're going to see the power of Thunder Miraidon. Because I'm going to go for Fake Out into... Let me just double check. Last turn of Rain. Last turn my Tailwind. I think Thunder knocks out our Chaladon. I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked. I think I do go for a Fake Out into Ursh and Thunder. There's also other ways I could win. Since they didn't protect the Ursh, just works out. I could have went for Fake Out or Chaladon Terra Fairy Gleam, and I did consider it, but you know what? Let's go for Thunder and see if it KOs. Yep, it KOs. It's just an absurd amount of damage. And then like what? Urshifu. And then what I think is like how I clean up the end game. Rain ends. Ursh is like Ursh had to protect there, and since it was Sash, it's not doing enough damage. I Terra Bug my Iron Hands to live close combat crit from the Iron Hands, and Surging Strikes, because Rain is over, does not KO my Iron Hands at the range is at. So I think I have a safe end game regardless, assuming Thunder KOs. And I was about to say, like, if Thunder didn't KO, like, what's the point of running this move? What's the point of running this move? I was risking a potential game. But like I did think that I pretty much had a seal with the Thunder. There's also other ways I could lock it. Fake Out on our Chaladon plus the Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam also won the game, so there was also that. But you know, more of a fun way to win, I think. All right, we have Kyogre, Calyx, Ice Rider, Incineroar, Urshifu, Amoonguss, and Raging Bolt. All right, so we have a Ice Rider team, which Tsareena looks pretty good. Kyogre plus Tsareena definitely looks good. I just don't know if it's Terra Water or not on this team, but I do like the idea of Water Spout and Triple Axle threatening a ton of damage. Urshifu could be brought, but I'm pretty sure it's just Iron Hands Miraidon, which is super safe in the back. I could think about these leads a bit more carefully, like I could lead Miraidon instantly, which isn't a bad option, but I don't think I need to. But I do like the idea of just powering through this team. I think what's nice about this team is setting up the electric terrain so Amoonguss can't really do too much against me. And without having to force my Terra, the only problem is I might have to Terra because of the Raging Bolt. However, it really just depends on A, like what the speed tiers are, B, like what Terra that Calyx Ice Rider is. Because if it's grass, I would have to triple axle Water Spout to KO. If it's water, I go for a Water Spout Power Whip. But I think it's water on a Kyogre team when they already have Ursh as well. I kind of doubt it, but we'll see. Gonna be Ursh and Calyx Ice Rider. Okay, versus my Tsareena and my Kyogre. So I definitely go on the offense here for sure. I think I just want to go for... Problem is I could lose both Pokemon here if I'm not careful. I feel like this would be Terra Grass, Cali Ice. The problem is I don't know if Origin Pulse would be enough to pick up the KO here. But I think my best play is just to Origin Pulse and go for a triple axle. I could taunt, but I don't think they're going to Trick Room. They probably read it. So I think I'm going to triple axle Origin Pulse, expecting Terra Grass. We do see a Terra from my opponent, which is not too surprising here. Is it water or is it grass? I have a feeling it's grass. Nice. Because rain teams, I feel like with Kyogre, it makes so much sense to have grass on it to pressure against Amoonguss since you don't have your own Raging Bolt. You go for U-turn. I could have Water Spouted. This is still a pretty good position though. Like Origin Pulse plus triple axle. It depends. I probably don't get the KO on Cali, but I get a ton of damage, which is really nice. Amoonguss is going to come in, okay? Please hit the Cali Ice. I think we missed the Cali Ice. We did miss the Cali Ice. Triple axle. I don't think we were KOing though, but like that damage would have been really important. They go straight for the Glacial. I mean, this is not a bad spot. This is not a terrible spot, I suppose. Because they only went for Glacial. Okay. It's the leftovers Cali Eyes. Okay. I kind of wish I got that Origin Pulse damage though, because I'm really worried about not KOing here. We go into Miraidon and we lock into Dazzling Gleam because Dazzling Gleam will do a ton of damage, and we go for Water Spout. Because Water Spout should do about the same amount of damage as Origin Pulse at the health I'm at. So I go for Water Spout and I go for Dazzling Gleam. We don't KO the Amoonguss, but not KOing the Amoonguss is fine. They protect the Cali Ice because now we can set up for a position where we can get a potential double knockout the following turn. Or if they protect Amoonguss, I mean, they're scouting for what I'm locking into a Miraidon, but they have no safe switch, right? They have no switch to Dazzling Gleam, and the Water Spout's putting on a lot of pressure offensively as well. So this is still pretty decent. The problem is I have no idea the investment on the Cali Ice, so this could have been a position where I could have taken a huge damage output threat, but do I have to Terra Fairy? I think I have to Terra Fairy, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm forced to Terra Fairy. Because I think with that leftovers, I think they definitely will live the attack now. So I'm going to go for Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam plus a Water Spout, and let's see how much damage this does. I will be weak to the Scarf Urshifu because with U-turn it should be Scarf Urshifu back. However, to be able to Origin... It's going to be tough to deal with that Urshifu. We'll see. Bring out the Terra Fairy. We got to go for Gleam here. We got to get as much damage as we possibly can. Yeah, Origin Pulse will KO. We get a crit on the Cali. And it's Citrus Berry on Amoonguss. Okay. Which is fine. And Water Spout makes sure we can never miss. We get good damage into the Amoonguss and knock out the Cali Ice. So Cali Ice goes down, and that's their Terragon. So not terrible, but could have been better. They go for Pollen Puff attempt. It doesn't work as Cali Ice went down. So nice. We didn't take any damage there, which is beautiful. They bring out the Urshifu. This is probably Surging Strikes. I think I just Water Spout and swap into Iron Hands because Iron Hands definitely lives the attack here. From the Urshifu, Surging Strikes definitely won't KO. If they go for close combat, it might be an interesting game. It might be an interesting game if they go for close combat. I don't know if they risk me staying in with Gleam. I just don't know. We bring out the Iron Hands. Get the Quark Drive. They go for Rage Powder. Oh, they might be targeting down the Kyogre then. Let's see. Yeah, they did Surging Strikes here. Okay, so this works out pretty well. Iron Hands takes the Surging Strikes a lot better than I thought in Rain. I thought it was going to do a little bit more, but that works out really well because now we have Fake Out Pressure plus Water Spout, and that's really good here. So we get Water Spout off. Goodbye, Amoonguss. Good damage to the Urshifu. All right. The Bolt is in the back, and we got to figure out how well we're playing against the Bolt. Oh, it's Incineroar back. Okay. I think with Incineroar back, that allows us to win the game guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken. Because it's the last turn of Rain, and there's an extra turn of... Yeah, so I just go for a Water Spout, and I go for a Fake Out into the Ursh. They already Terra'd. We know it's Choice Locked. That'll give me forfeit because they realize, oh, I can't really do anything in this because Miraidon cleans them in the back once Rain is over, because then I just go for the Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam. They can't really break through Miraidon. And because it's still hard to knock out the Kyogre, because I'll live one Surging Strikes with the Kyogre, it's still really tough for them. And Iron Hands, once it gets a Drain Punch hit off into Incineroar, like it's over. Or if I get the KO on Urshifu that turn, it's also over. So yeah, there was like really a lot. Like, it was pretty likely I was just going to be able to win in the end game regardless. So, yeah, we put on a lot of pressure. Missing the Origin Pulse kind of stunk on the Kali Ice turn 1. The damage would have been nice. Might have forced me not to Terra. Although that was a really spit-def Kali Ice. I would have loved to have that information immediately. But I had a feeling they were going to protect the Kali Ice turn 2. And again, I had a feeling that they were just going to attack with Glacial turn 1 just because of the fact that the taunt is pretty obvious there in some cases. So I was like, okay, I was pretty safe too. And I didn't want to Terra my Tsareena because if they went for close combat into that slot, it would have been really bad. Volcarona, Urshifu, Grimmsnarl, Rillaboom, Kyogre, and Calyrex Ice Rider. Huh, definitely some interesting takes here for sure. All right, how do I want to perform against this? I do have my Tsareena, which is nice since I don't have to worry about Thunder Waves or Fake Outs. I could lead Tsareena right away. Tsareena is not a bad lead with Kyogre. I kind of like Tsareena Kyogre. It puts on a lot of offensive pressure against their team in general. And then I always just like Miraidon and Iron Hands in the back, I think. Scarf Urshifu could go really crazy under the right conditions, but I think it's probably Terra Grass Kali Ice on this team, or maybe not. They could have Terra Grass Kyogre, so maybe it's like another Terra on Kali Ice. I don't know if they would have Terra Water on the Kali Ice. It's just weird because I don't know. I could see it being a different type than like the standard water or grass on this, just because it's always interesting because of the rain dynamic on Kali Ice. You can really afford to run a different Terra if you really want to, but we'll see. Gonna be the combination of Kali Ice, Grimmsnarl. Okay, so this is a pretty good lead because Tsareena can Terra Ice to prevent the Glacial Lance from doing much. We can taunt the Kali Ice to prevent Leech Seed if it's Leech Seed, and Water Spout's just threatening a lot of damage across the board because if they don't go for Light Screen, they take a ton anyway. So let's just Water Spout, Terra Ice, and taunt the Kali Ice. So we will be able to go for the Terra Ice. The weakness of this Terra Ice is we won't be able to Terra the rest. Like, we won't be able to Terra my Kyogre out of a Grassy Glide in the future of this game. But then again, I do have Miraidon, so I'm not like too worried about that. A little bit worried about taking a lot of damage from their Kyogre potentially. It depends on their Speed Tier and Kyogre, because that's going to be a massive one. But I feel like this is a really good start right here because Water Spout Taunt putting on a lot of offensive pressure. I don't really see their switches right now. Then I could go for Triple Axle Water Spout. I could go for Helping Hand Water Spout. Like, Grimmsnarl is pretty much forced to Light Screen unless it's Focus Sash because Grimmsnarl is taking a ton of damage. And this Terra Ice is just going to be really nice to power up our Triple Axles later in the game, but more importantly, resist that Glacial Lance of now. We're going to see a Terra come out from my opponent. Let's see what the Terra on the Kali Ice most likely is. It's probably one of Water or Grass if they're going to go for Terra here. Okay, it's Terra Grass. Okay, so it gets pinned by Triple Axle the following turn, so that's not too bad for me. All right. Just don't be Seed Bomb for some random reason. Because if it's Seed Bomb, that could be a thing. Water Spout doing a ton of damage here. Yep. Good amount. You get a taunt off. What's the Calyrex going for? Glacial? Yep. And we resist both. So very nice. Very nice. Do we want to attack the Calyrex, or are we reading the Calyrex to... Oh, it can't protect, so we just get a Water Spout plus triple Axle Pin always into the Calyrex slot. So yeah, that's always the play here, because I really want damage into Calyrex. They retreat the Calyrex, which makes sense. Whatever's coming in is still taking a good amount of damage. Like Kyogre is still taking a lot. I could have Power Whipped. I thought about going for Power Whip into Grimmsnarl, and I guess I should have. But I still think this works out decently in our favor, because we still get good damage into the Kyogre with Water Spout. That's Assault Vest Kyogre. That has to be. Yeah, that's Light Screen Assault Vest on top of that. Okay. So it's probably slower than my Tsareena, but I also have Miraidon and Iron Hands, which is good against the Kyogre. Because Electro Drift should still do a good amount of damage. So we're building up damage into Kyogre. Good. You get a crit. Okay. I guess Calyrex can come in and then we're going to have a bit of an issue. Yep. I mean, they can't really knock out my Kyogre this turn. I don't know if Calyrex protects. That I'm a bit concerned about. Do I want to taunt, or do I want to Ice Beam triple Axle, which definitely doesn't knock out, I think, here. So a little bit concerning. I think I had to read maybe that switch, because this is looking rough. I think I should have Power Whip too. Yeah. This is going to be a bit tough. I do want to go for... I think Ice Beam damage is really important to Calyrex. And I think we also go for a taunt. Okay, they don't protect. I get an Ice Beam off. I get some good damage into the Calyrex. And we get the taunt off, which is great. Okay. A Origin Pulse to take the knockout Tsareena. If they go for Glacial Lance, they won't knock out the Kyogre, which is good. All right. Nice. Okay. And yeah, it's probably bulky Leech Seed on the Calyrex, so it's probably only Glacial as the attack move. We can go out into Miraidon or Hands here. Both are acceptable. I wish I could see what my opponent has potentially, because I would like to figure this out. I could lock in the Thunder, or I could lock in the Draco Meteor. I could also go into Hands here. Hands is not a bad play. That Fake Out. I think I want to go Miraidon first. This is where Thunder might screw us over, because Electro Drift would KO the Kyogre with the guaranteed multipliers, but with Light Screen and Assault Vest, we might not KO. It might be Rillaboom back, though. I just think... I feel like Rillaboom switches in, and I just don't know which slot it's going to switch into. I think it always switches out for the... I would probably, if I was them, if I have Rillaboom back, I go Rillaboom on the Calyrex slot, and I Thunder the Kyogre. I think I'm just going to Volt Switch the Kyogre and Protect. They do swap out, so this is probably real, I'd imagine. Yep. Okay, perfect. I didn't Thunder there because Thunder wasn't going to knock out without the terrain. So this works out huge in my favor. I get to have switch momentum now, which is really good. Because they probably Thundered my Kyogre. I don't think you Ice Beam, and I don't think you Water Move in this position. I get a Volt Switch off. Because that damage in Kyogre builds up. Thunder, I think, barely missed a knockout, so that's really good. If I went for Thunder Water Spout, the problem is the Calyrex comes in, and then they get free offense, which is not good for me. So I had to go Hands here. Yep. That's exactly what I thought they would do. Perfect. All right, it's not over yet, but that is a very good step in the right direction. I think we go back to Miraidon and do I fake out or I think I low kick the Rillaboom. Or I could low kick the Kyogre. Yeah, I can low kick the Kyogre. Low kick the Kyogre is fair. Because Draco Meteor would it kill Cali Ice through Light Screen? At 50%, so I'd imagine so. I still gotta watch out because I could actually still get reverse swept by the Cali Ice. The Cali Ice is looking really rough. The question is, do they fake out or do they U-turn? If they U-turn, it might have been better for me to low kick the Rillaboom slot because I need the damage in the Cali Ice, I think. And giving them the free switch to Reel is not great. I want to KO the Kyogre if they click fake out into the Kyogre or Grassy Glide attempt. But I think this is a U-turn. Or they fake out Iron Hands. Both work. Oh, they swap out the Kyogre slot. Wait, no, this works out really well for me because I get a free low kick off into Cali Ice. Okay. Oh, that's a bit healthier than I remembered. Okay. Okay, they fake out. That works. That works. Rain stops. Electric Terrain is on the field. All right. I mean, if I was them... You're too scared of Draco Meteor here, right? Because I always lock in the Draco against the Cali Ice. I feel like I want to Volt Switch to Rillaboom and low kick that slot. It's risky because this play might not work out for me. But I think it's worth it. Let me see. 3 turns of Light Screen. I feel like they protect the Cali Ice. I feel like they always try to reposition the Rillaboom by clicking U-turn. Or they hard swap here. That works out for me because I get the Kyogre, and if they decide to attack with Cali Ice, I get the free low kick off, which is actually great. Okay. I mean, that works. That actually works better than I expected. That actually works better than I expected because I didn't take U-turn damage. All right, goodbye Kyogre. Yeah, like I had a feeling that they were going to try to do this end game. All right. So we bring out the Kyogre. The end game's still tricky, but I think this is still very workable. If 2 Ice Beams KO to Cali Ice, but I just imagine they don't. Rillaboom comes in. This is probably fake out Glacial. You fake out the Iron Hands. Can I risk my Miraidon surviving the turn? Because my problem is they're about to go for... My turns of Light Screen are up 2. Yeah. This is so tricky. I think you always fake out the Iron Hands and go for Glacial. I'm gonna go Miraidon and Ice Beam. I'm trying to figure out what gives me the best odds to win, and I do think that it is switching out my Iron Hands, so I have pressure. Like, I don't think they're ever targeting my Kyogre slot with a grass move, and if they do, well, it depends on if the Cali Ice goes for Glacial or not, because that's going to be a big important factor. But this at least prevents Grassy Glide. I do think it's always fake on the Iron Hands and the Glacial. Like, I don't see why they would... Maybe they Trick Room, but I just don't see it. Yeah, they fake out the Iron Hand slot, which is always happening. And then I get an Ice Beam off into the Cali Ice. I just don't do that much damage, yeah. Oh, they did Trick Room. Okay, this works. This works. So I think I Ice Beam the Cali Ice. I was debating about switching Kyogre, but I think switching Kyogre or protecting Kyogre is a throw here, because if I want a chance, this is Glacial plus an attack, right? They might Wood Hammer double up my Miraidon slot. So I think I always Ice Beam here, because even if Kyogre goes down, I get a Fake Out plus a Draco Meteor and a Rillaboom the next turn, and I think that actually works out in my favor. Problem is, I don't know if I actually beat the Cali Ice at this point, because like the Glacials are doing a ton of damage. Yep, we're gonna see Glacial. They did Wood Hammer double up, which was my Miraidon. Yep. And we get an Ice Beam into the Cali Ice. We don't KO. No freeze, leftovers. Screen wears off, but would have been nice if they wore it off another turn. Okay. He turns a Tricker into Maneuver. Is there a way out of this situation? I just don't think there is. I took a lot of damage. I think I would have to... I have to read whether the Cali Ice protects or not. I think it does, because if I Fake Out the Cali Ice and I crit, they lose. I'm going to Fake Out the Rillaboom and go for Ice Beam, crit or freeze. Ah, they stayed in with Cali Ice. Okay, yeah, it's over. Because they get a Glacial off. I think I had a close one. I tried to maneuver this much as possible. I think the problem is I didn't get enough damage into Kyogre the early turns of the game when I could have Power Whipped, because I definitely felt like Power Whip was right, and I guess it makes sense that they just don't stay in and click Glacial in that position, because they take a lot of damage with Triple Axle plus Water Spout, even with screens up. So I should have probably tried to pin that Grimmsnarl slot with a Power Whip plus a Water Spout. Would have done better here. Because the screens part with Rillaboom was just really difficult to handle. And you might be wondering, oh, why didn't I just try to target the Cali Ice with Draco earlier? It's because it was always protecting. The Rillaboom was always pivoting. And then they would just switch into Rillaboom the next turn. So they lived to Draco with the Electric Terrain shut off. So there was no way I was really breaking through without crits. So I think I just needed early damage pressure at the start. But unfortunately, I just didn't have enough firepower to break through in the end. Because that was the thing. Like, I guess I would have had to Fake Out the Cali Ice and just hope for a crit. Because, like, I have to Fake Out the Cali Ice. It's going to flinch. Rillaboom's going to get an attack on the Kyogre. I lose Kyogre. And then the position's the same anyway. So it's like, okay, my only hope is to Fake Out crit and hope that it KOs. I don't even know if Fake Out crit KOs. Maybe with the attack booster and Electric Terrain it does. But kind of doubt it. Because Cali Ice is just a bulky Pokemon. So... yeah, I think I needed to play more aggressive at the start, and even then, like all the micro turns I got like pretty right, so I don't really know if there was anything else that I could really do, because I did punish like a lot of their switches, but it wasn't enough to break through, I think. All right, let's go over to games. In game one, a great start. I think I should have tried to punish the Amoonguss switch on turn 2, and maybe I could have played more aggressively, though without some really bad RNG, the plays I made did not give my opponent any room to be able to come back. In game 2, Tornadus landing a clutch Hurricane and Sun to Oko to Whimsicott, which then I was able to bully their team with the terrain, weather, and speed advantage. In game 3, sure, they shut off the abilities, but I was able to do a lot of damage to them, though I should have clicked Water Spout turn 1 since my turn was faster. I think I clicked Origin Pulse. I definitely should have clicked Water Spout, then Regigigas. Though they went down early, and once I doubled up their remaining Calyx, the game was over. In game 4, Max Speed Tornadus with Taunt was beautiful, as turn 1 played out exactly as I expected, and then a quick double knockout, which is not what I expected, but I was able to position the Miraidon and Iron Hands to clean up against the remainder of the bag, especially with the speed advantage. In game 5, a bit of a rough start, but was able to knock out the Calx Ice Rider eventually, and Kyogre was able to break through the opposing support mons, while the Urshifu was too preoccupied with my Miraidon. In game 6, I think I got a lot of calls right, but needed to pin that Kyogre slot with a Power Whip read to cover for the switch. Rillaboom with the bulky Kyogre and the Calx Ice Rider was still tough to handle under screens, and especially under the Trick Room. So how was the team? The team is very fun because you are able to do a ton of damage, but you do have to get quite a few calls right because this team doesn't have the best room to maneuver certain positions. Opposing Miraidon could definitely be scary. If they're faster, it is a very big problem. And if they do have Miraidon, it's still threatening because you do have to play a bit of a mind game between like what moves they go for. On the bright side, if they do Terra to avoid the Draco Meteor from Miraidon KOing, you do have a Kyogre that cleans them up with Water Spout. But if they do get some of the reads right, it can be a little bit tough. So I didn't face too many Miraidons when I played with this team, but I was able to beat the ones that I was able to play generally. So I do think the team has options, but you do have to play very aggressively into those. Otherwise, we've played a lot of Calcs, Ice Rider, Kyogres. Japan has been loving that combination at the moment, and it can be pretty tough if they have Grimmsnarl on screen. Let me just say that was definitely tough with the Rillaboom one especially. However, team was able to perform extremely well. There's a lot of damage output that this team was able to provide, and it was able to do pretty well. If you would like to try out the team, the rental code is on your screen. Hopefully it's still available by the time the video comes out. And if you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always. And was Thunder worth it? I don't think it was. I don't think it was.